Jake Lloyd Bacon. This past Saturday at WWE Summerslam, we saw the most prized possession in all of combat sports be fought for.
Oh, are you talking about the Women's World Championship?
No, there's two of those. How can you tell which one's better?
You clearly must mean then one of a kind, the Intercontinental title. Braun Breaker.
No, that's the second match on the card. That's not a big deal.
I don't know. It must be the undisputed WWE Championship.
Oh, really? Because there's also a World Championship, so it's all muddled.
What the hell are you talking about then?
A bracelet with the name of a dog and a woman on it that comes from the dollar store.
Well, I guess there is only one of those.
WWE Summerslam Fallout today on Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hey, Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
Hello to everybody out there tuning in to the PWP program. We are coming at you from Los Angeles and Texas. Texas.
Wow, the state of Los Angeles and the state of Texas.
Well, you know what? I don't know what.
Who's in Los Angeles?
You're in Los Angeles. You in sushi pants.
Nope.
Oh, you're not in county? You're in Los Angeles County still? You're in Orange County? What county are you in? Oh, all right. Well, fucking, I don't know. We're coming at you from the internet. Let's just say that. You know how
I don't live next to you at all when we were recording together in the same space, and it took me a while to get there?
Yeah, right. I was wondering what took you so long. I just assumed you were taking like your bike or something.
That's not a thing.
We are not joined live via the Patreon Palskis through the super exclusive patron only live stream today because we're just getting settled here at our temporary stay here in Texas, and so we're sorting out the best way to do this with limited internet connectivity. So just bear with us.
2G?
I think it's like 1.7.
How many G's you got?
Like 1.74 G.
What's standard nowadays? How many G's?
I think 5 is the standard. 5 is the best G's. That's the most amount of G's you get.
Okay.
In any case,
gotta look for that G spot then, Jake.
Even though we're not live, it does not excuse us from acknowledging him, our current PWP champ, Gilbert Short, in a record third month as PWP champion, will defend that title today at the end of the episode in the PWP Championship Palski Battle Royal. If you would like to have your name thrown into the jar here, into this match at the beginning of every single month, where you have to become a championship level Palski over at patreon.com/ Pro Wrestling Palskis, PW Palskis. I can't remember what it is. It's been so long since we've done this. PW Palskis.
This jar is making the towns.
It really is. We're a traveling federation at this point.
Yeah, this jar has been everywhere you've been.
Also, I mean, we're covering the major territories. We had the West Coast, we had New York, now we're in the South.
Man, West Coast, New York, and South. They should really name those coasts or territories. I mean, no, that's like, nobody ever called it the Northeast. They called it New York because that was Vince. That was, they called it in all the dark side of the rings. Okay, they always call it. Oh yeah, they go up to New York. Oh, I got called up to New York. He was working up in New York. People also did call it Northeast. I don't know. I don't even think that's a real direction. Show me Northeast on a compass. Well, show me a compass, and then I'll show you Northeast. Anyways, Scott and Arver, it's been a while. We've been off for a week or two. I don't know.
but we're gonna do what we can
Probably
here.
tad more than that, I feel like.
Gonna do what we can here to get back into some semblance of regularity.
Well, I think it'd be good, first off, that you just kind of let everyone know the state that you're in, other than Texas, but just
very sweaty.
how are things going? Because you've
stressed.
gone from the East Coast to the South.
Yes, we are.
Like how everything's going, and that you're all right. And
yeah,
such.
we had a mostly lovely drive from New York to Alexandra's father's ranch here in Texas, where we are going to stay for a little while and get some good family visiting in. We have not seen.
So you're at the Broken Skull Ranch, and you've hidden from everyone this whole time that Alexander's father is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, that's why that's the only wrestler she knew of when I met her.
God,
when she was like, "Oh, I remember Stone Cold." Where is that ranch? I wonder if we're anywhere near it. I mean, I know Texas is a giant fucking place, so probably not. But for all I know,
you're closer now than you've ever been.
He's a town over. For all I know,
you could go say hi to Poncho.
Oh, and be like, "Hey, Poncho. Stay away from them snakes, buddy." Anyways, yeah, we're here. We're gonna get some visit in. We figured, we're heading back west anyway. What's a stop along the way to get some good family time in? We have not seen her father in 7 years now, since 2017 was the last time that we saw her dad. So
this better earn you some major points to be in Texas in August.
Can I tell you, not as bad as it was in New York. I never thought that I would be one of these obnoxious fucking people who's like, yeah, but it's a dry heat. Fuck it. It's a dry heat. It is hot as balls out there, but it is significantly more comfortable out there than it was on Long Island, because 94% humidity on Long Island is fucking miserable. Whereas it's windy out here. There's a constant 12-degree wind at all time here. So even though the sun is high and it's definitely hot.
That's just the iguanas breathing out. Their cold-blooded lungs.
But yeah, it's actually nice. Don't get me wrong. It's the strange thing is that it's actually it makes inside hotter here because the sun is so aggressive on the buildings that it's tougher to cool down the interiors here. But it's still just not muggy. It's not damp. I'm more comfortable here than I was on Long Island in New York.
We're getting insight into old man Jake here.
Listen,
for his retirement years.
I don't want to listen. I'm kvetching, and it's too. I don't want to sweat. But yeah, I mean, listen, we're surrounded by a ton of stuff that's trying to kill us. Listen to the pre-show if you want to hear all about it. We have a grasshopper infestation. But listen, I got lots of goats to hang out with. I got some donkey friends. We're right next to a chicken coop. So we got woken up by chickens every day. Bookstore is very excited to look out the window and see chickens on a day-to-day basis. This dog is living his fucking best life right now.
Well, when you come back to Los Angeles, then you should live next to an El Pollo Loco.
That's not the same. They don't think that's the same thing.
Those chickens are crazy.
Exactly. This is a El Pollo saying no. Sorry.
Say no? Oh, so they're Nancy Reagan's chickens?
Just say no to chickens.
That's my political humor for the day.
There we go.
Do you have any fun adventures or get to see or eat anything that was fun?
Not yet, no. I'm very excited because I have yet to go to a supermarket here. I'm telling you, I'm going to find those fucking Doritos that you've been talking about, the burger Doritos.
Do you want a Piggly Wiggly?
No, we passed a couple Buc-ee's and I was like, oh, I want to go in there. I've heard those are fun.
I hear amazing things about Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
There are certain sandwiches and such you got to get. So,
but when I tell you we're in the middle of nowhere, it's an hour to the closest actual place where there is society. There's a little town
what else
nearby.
You got going on? Come on.
There's a little town nearby, but there's nothing in the town, and the entire town closes at 5:00.
Are you going to go change the population sign to let them know that you and Alexander have arrived?
That is the exact same joke her dad made. For verbatim, that is the exact same joke. We got to head on down to the occupancy sign and add 2 to it.
Yeah, but he's probably not joking. He's like, we have
no,
to.
Probably not. Probably not.
We're our own census.
Yeah, listen, we're not going to be here long. It's definitely a lifestyle that Alexandra and I are not into, but
no,
we're getting some visits in, and it's it's nice, and we'll it's another chapter, another strange little chapter in our little adventure away from LA for a year.
But you guys are good. You're healthy.
Yes.
And we're kind of making do right now with limited capabilities of limited Wi-Fi that you have, internet capabilities. So we don't have all the bells and whistles that we do, and we're trying to see if we can step it up, but we're still trying to just get you, the listener, and sorry, watcher, stuff in the meantime.
Yeah. So the internet was slightly oversold to us here prior to arrival. Our standards apparently were a little bit higher than that of,
Coaster.
Someone who's like, yeah, I could check my email. What more do you need? So we're trying to sort out a better situation. But as of right now, I just know for a fact if we tried to do this live, everything would just die instantaneously. The world would implode. So we're not live, but we're going to.
Yeah, we're also trying not to have the listener just sit there going, if we were trying to do a live and you're sitting there going, this isn't working, this is frustrating.
Right.
So we're trying to work it out on our end before we present something out of reach for all of you.
So just be patient here with us while we get this sorted out. And hopefully while we are here, things can just be normal for a little while. We can get to a point where everything is as is until I end up back in LA again. But just be patient with us. In any case,
you can tag Jake on the Discord and just type in all caps with your patience.
Yes. Be very patient in all caps at me aggressively in the Discord. This past weekend, yesterday at time of recording, was ye old SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get everybody together and have a big old party and watch SummerSlam? It's the party of the summer. That's what they keep saying.
Yeah, Source Sushi Pants is a little dismayed because I left for the biggest party of the summer and I ditched her.
Oh shit! Is that why she's giving you
2 other cats?
Is that why she's kind of giving you the cold shoulder right now?
Yeah.
And by that I mean she's sitting on your shoulders, warming them, which is everything's backwards with cats.
But she's giving cold.
Yeah, that's why they land on their
cold
feet.
Energy.
Oh, she's totally giving cold right now.
So a buddy that I met through Second City, who is a sort of on and off again wrestling fan.
CM Punk?
No. That guy's not a wrestling fan.
He's a big fan of bracelets, though.
He loves them. He loves it with just one. And it can't be replaced.
Nope.
He was pretty much out in the last Vince run of it all and just kind of washed his hands of it and was asking me a couple of days previous and going like, what are you watching? Is there anything good right now? Like, is AEW all right? And I was like, nah, it's not for me. Maybe you'll dig it, but I don't think it's really your style. I was saying, the Punk and Drew and all that's pretty good. And SummerSlam's on Saturday. He's like, I think you mean on Sunday. I go, you haven't been watching. It's on Saturday. And he goes, well, my family's out of town. Like, you want to come up to Los Angeles? You know where you already live? And I'm like, yeah. So, I drove up. But I walked next door and then we watched some SummerSlam.
Well, that's fun.
And I was like, careful. This show might be like 5-ish hours. I said, 7. I don't know. The other ones are like 3. I don't know what this one will be.
I feel like they've been pretty good without being too long. I felt that this was one match too long last night.
And this is the first time I'd watched in a while in a Peacock with ads.
Oh,
which
okay.
is
right.
It gives it that raw feel to it when you're watching Raw live, because then you're watching ads for shit that has nothing to do with the show.
Right.
And there's 0 video packages for the matches.
Interesting.
Which
so
also sucks.
They run ads during that part as well, like the recaps.
Yeah, were you seeing recaps for matches?
Of course. Yeah, I saw recaps of the match, and then, but also there's that thing where because it's live, it's not like they could just not show ads and keep going, so they just show a generic thing for WWE where like it was like, oh, here's a Damian Priest has a 365, whatever his fucking 24/7, whatever that thing is called. Here's a little promo about that, or here's a promo for the WrestleMania behind the scenes thing with The Rock, and so it's all like, it's still commercials. It's just commercials for WWE shit instead.
Yeah, it keeps you on brand. It keeps you in the theme of it. So when there's stuff that's not, I'm getting a little checked out, and I felt the length of the show more than I would have. And I think I'm used to the 3-hour mark.
Right.
So yeah, there was overall, we'll get into it for sure, but
How long was it? I don't really remember exactly.
I think it was about 4 hours.
Yeah.
So it wasn't terrible.
No, that's still too long though. It's still, that's too much.
I think that the biggest thing that hit me with it was there was a lot of repetitive things within the night.
I noticed that. Even so much so that like 2 matches back to back worked the same injury.
And then there was another one later.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was
and also the ongoing theme of that the Discord. Whenever I check in about it, doesn't seem to mind too much, but I can't get into 2 world title matches of both men and women in the same night, and usually not get burnt out on the second one.
Right. I understand that totally.
So it's that kind of shit. It's just, it's like, oh my God, there was a lot of repetition throughout the night. A lot of beats of an ending of a match too.
I mean,
so
7 matches rather, and 6 of
7
them,
episodes in this one season.
7 matches, 6 of them were title matches for a singles title, by the way. 6 singles title matches.
Yes.
It used to be called Night of Champions.
Yeah. Lacked variety. We didn't get any tag stuff.
Yeah. There was no multi-man match. There was no handicap. There was no triple threat. It was all a one-on-one match all night.
Well,
there was one gimmick
rule.
Yeah. And we had a special guest referee, but still they were ultimately just one-on-one matches still. Like,
yeah.
All right. Well, you want to just dive into it?
Yeah, did you watch there at the ranch?
Yeah. I was able
Stone Cold IPAs with Dad.
I was able to pull it up here in our little abode, and there was some times where it was spotty, but for the most part it was okay. There were some.
Was there any offer of like, hey, we're watching wrestling. Do you watch wrestling?
No, there's not going to be any of that. No, none whatsoever.
It's like Von Erichs. Watch Von Erichs.
Alexandra asked that. She was like, I wonder if he knows him, but. I remember when we went to go see the Iron Claw, we had spoken to her dad at some point, like a couple days afterwards, and he said like, "Oh, what's going on?" Or what? And she said, "Oh, we went to go see the Iron Claw about the Von Erich family," and he just did not respond to that. I assume had he been like, "Oh, I remember the Von Erichs from Texas," blah blah blah, then maybe. But I my guess would be that is so far from the realm of his reality that it is. Yeah. But no. Just kept to ourselves and hung out. Alexandra was working. I had a little bit of work that I was doing, but then that dwindled down in time for some enjoyable wrestling. And there were some matches that honestly I just kind of was checked out of, where I was like, oh, I'm going to walk the dog real quick, because some of them were just not good in my opinion.
I know what one of them was.
Overall, it was like a good show. I do hate one of the outcomes more than the rest of them.
I bet I know which one that one is too.
100% you know exactly which one it is. Well,
you're not a father.
What? I don't get it.
We'll get to it.
Okay. So you want to start at the top of it?
Yeah, we'll start at the tippy top of the show. I'd say, the overall, I agree with you. Like, it was a good show.
Yeah.
Had a good time. We start off with a title match, and we're in Cleveland, Ohio. It's an outdoor stadium. I don't know what it's called. They said it a million times.
Brown Stadium.
Gross. It was Liv Morgan, who's a champion, the women's world champion, that is, versus Rhea Ripley with Dominic Mysterio at her side. I was certainly a little trepidatious, as was my buddy, because there were some people he was familiar with and some he wasn't. And Liv and Rhea are in the ring together, and he goes, she's just small.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know how this is really going to be a credible match, but they did a really good job of presenting something credible. I've
said this since Liv started, is that like Liv is one of those types of wrestlers that even though there's some areas at which she was a little green, I mean, she's getting a lot better too, but like there's some areas that she was clearly green about, is that she doesn't seem like she's not an athlete. She has, there's something at least to her that makes me feel like she's scrappy. There's a fight to her.
Yeah.
Where it's not like, I've always struggled with AJ Lee. As much as I liked AJ Lee, I was always just like, you don't look like your competitor in a combat sport of any kind. And not even in a fun, scrappy kind. Like they did a good job with AJ of like her making herself a technical wrestler, but even then, it was just sometimes hard to swallow.
She's loony, and also when she would do the submissions, she grab you. You couldn't get her off of you.
Right,
she's wrapped around you, so that was a good element to her.
Sure, but
they did a great job with Liv. Rhea couldn't get her hands on her. Mm-hmm. She kept running out of the ring.
Yeah, doing
all these different things, and then the second that Rhea tricks her. And Liv is there frozen, and I go, Liv, you could still get away.
Sure.
Rhea's big, but she's not that quick.
Right.
They're just laying there on the ring looking at each other. I liked it. I like the lethal weapon aspect of it all, the shoulder dislocation. I'm like, oh, cool. She's going to pop it back in later. That'll be fun.
But it also looked like whatever she did to give it the appearance that she did was great because it looked gnarly to me. Like she was... I don't know if she's double jointed. Who was it? There was another woman who was able to. Was it Alexa Bliss who was able to like bend her arm in a weird way and make it look like
her elbows.
Right, made it look like she broke her shit like that. When I saw that, I went, "Oh fuck! Did she really dislocate?" Like it looked really rough.
I have a shoulder that can pop out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you want to see? Sorry, everybody at home.
No. Oh my god, that's strange. You're a strange person. Oh, yeah, I can see that weird little bump. Oh, my God.
It just drops out. And I always thought when there were the hopes of being a wrestler one day, I was like, oh, that's what I'll do. Like in a match, like it'll be something that happened and it'll be like, oh, God, it flew out. And then you do the lethal weapon, you pop it back in. And everyone thinks like, whoa, cool. But it was real.
So I will say.
I thought I won't do it twice in a match, though.
I was just about to say that. On brand with the theme of the night, which is we've done something too many times. Why did they do it again? It was so good the first time, and then the second time wasn't even as good.
Yeah, if anything, we already had it. It was so impressive to do it the one time. It got a huge reaction.
Liv sold it like crazy.
If it's not gonna be I don't know, you do it once, and then if you're doing it a second time, if that's not the outcome of the match, that Liv undoes it a second time, and then Rhea can't redo it or can't get the opportunity to redo it, and that's her undoing.
Right.
Then that's the story. But to do it again was just less. And I think that was also another thing throughout the night is we have big climactic finisher moment, and you go, whoa, we got to kick out of it.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
That was great. That would have been cool. But this did have a great false finish where.
Yeah,
we thought Liv might take it, and she kicks out, and the audience loses their mind. They were way into it.
Yeah, and it was a well-told story with Dom stopping the chair, but then everybody's booing Dom, and then Cole on commentary being like, they can boo him, but he's right. She wants to win this title, and she's gonna not win it that way. And Dom was doing a really good job of saying you can't win the title this way, and saying it really loud so that we could all see what he's saying.
Way more authoritative than the ref was.
Sure, 100%. So like it was very good misdirect. They told a really good story with Dom. This love triangle has been very fun to watch, even Rhea without being on TV. It's been very entertaining. I've enjoyed the Liv Dom story. This was a great twist, and the fact that when it's all said and done, he's got that little smirk on his face. Yeah, I mean this was fun. I enjoyed this match. I honestly did not think Liv was going to lose, so this was exciting for me as well.
I also didn't think Rhea would get her heart broken.
Yeah. Well, was she heartbroken?
She wasn't heart mended.
Because she just looked more angry.
Oh, she's finally back with him. They were, cuddling, walking down the aisle together. But Dominic ends up costing Rhea the match, and Liv gets the pin. I was shocked by that. And then I was shocked to see that at the end, Dom sides with Liv, and they start making out.
Yeah, it was fun. It's one of those things where I go, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, that was some sort of classic WWE stuff, and you go, okay, yeah, they love their title matches in the beginning of the show that has like, elements of love and also backstabbing to it.
Can I tell you? Alexandra has not really kept up, doesn't really know what's going on. She loved all of this. Absolutely loved it. She was like smiling and laughing and like, oh my God, this is great. I love it. Like she was totally into the love triangle aspect of it. And I was like, oh, that's fun. Is there somebody like everything came across? Like you didn't need to know any additional backstory, even though they've already told a good backstory. She was very into it, which I thought was fun.
Yeah. Super fun. Great way to set the tone for something fun going on. That was great. Next up, Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker.
Zayn is still one of my favorites. This is a perfectly fine match. Zayn is very good in it. They do a very good job of making Zayn seem like the smarter competitor, and playing up the ring intelligence with Zayn was really, really good. Especially like right off of the bat with Braun attacking and him getting like this was a very fun, good, exciting match that eventually at some point to me just lost steam until Braun won, and then I didn't care.
Yeah, they had a better first outing between the two of them at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And this was the second match of the night to have someone, Rhea had gone shoulder first into the post turnbuckle, and that's when she injured her shoulder, and then Braun went to go for a spear and hit the turnbuckle and hurt his shoulder.
Yep.
And it just felt immediately like, did anyone ever watch The Wrestler?
See this? Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, of course. What are we working
tonight
on
I'm
tonight?
going to work the shoulder. Got it. There was more of this shit to come, which was so weird. But the second match, we have a shoulder injury, and I agree. Like they just lost steam at one point, and it wasn't like anyone messed up a spot or anything.
No, it felt like a Raw match halfway through.
Yeah.
Like it started really good, and right off the bat, they told a really good story with Sammy being smart, and there was some great moves, and there was some fun reversals and whatnot. But eventually, it just kind of turned into a very cookie cutter wrestling match.
It felt like there was a weird edit that didn't exist, but that in between that edit, someone goes, should we just stop and Braun wins now?
Right. I see what you're saying.
Can we just wrap it up? Like,
okay, boys, bring it home. Yeah.
Oh, all right. It's over.
I also just don't. I just think this is too soon for Braun. They've been doing really good with champions. They've been really doing good with making people, even though I'm not a Damian Priest fan. Like I understood putting the title on him and having this moment. Like they've been pretty good. This is an instance where I think this is too soon. And I don't just mean because like he's green, but because of like for the character, I think this might be detrimental because I don't know that Braun is at this point yet personally. But I also feel like because of the way that they have written the character, it's like, I guess, what else do you do with them? But I don't know. I don't like it. I don't think he's a Intercontinental champ at the current present moment. I mean, I know he is literally the Intercontinental champ, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I find him so exciting and so intriguing. It is tricky because does Sammy just work better overall as constantly chasing something?
Right, of course.
Rather than being the guy with the title and fighting?
100%.
I don't know. But in the repetition that we will feel, this is the first guy since Gunther was this dominant champ for so long and this unstoppable force. Sammy beats him. Now Braun Breaker beats him. Kind of fills that Gunther role again where you go, this younger unstoppable force is like, you have the feeling of who can stop this man.
Right. I guess this is just my personal bias coming through. Whereas Walter actually feels like that, and Gunther actually feels like that, and Braun feels like WWE is telling us that, if that makes sense.
See, I just get the vibe from him just because what he does and the way he runs the ropes, and dude's just so crazy intense.
Sure, I get that.
I get all the vibes. There was a very nice video we see later on the night. There was Legend sitting up in one of the like skyboxes of the arena. You mean
X-Pac?
No, there were Legends and there was X-Pac as well.
Oh, okay.
I know he's a 2-time Hall of Famer. Whatever, he's fine. 1, 2, 3. The kid didn't get in. Tell you that.
He's not a Hall of Famer on his own. He's part of two groups that he was not a founding member of either.
There was a video of someone filming the Steiners watching of the end of their match and their reaction to it. And it was nice to see a reaction video that wasn't hammed up. It wasn't, we know we're going to be filmed, so we're going to do something way over the top.
Right.
They reacted like a dad and uncle.
Wait, did you think that they were watching Braun's match? They were actually just, it was a trailer reaction for the new Captain America movie that was coming out. That's what they were reacting to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They have their own YouTube channel called Steiner Reacts.
They're really proud then of Harrison Ford to finally join the MCU. DDP sitting there with them too. And then it's just it's a nice, genuine celebration. They don't go, they're not doing something phony. They're not yelling Braun. It's just really sweet and sentimental.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like, same Zayn deserve this.
Right.
Next up, the other singles men's champion of mid-tier level. We have Logan Paul and Machine Gun Kelly.
I mean, I feel that way about Logan Paul now, to be honest with you. So like Machine Gun Kelly it can't get any worse in my opinion.
I mean, I don't care for Machine Gun Kelly. We neglected to mention Jelly Roll at the top of the show, but I know he comes into play later.
But that was also like why, like this is why this shit feels too long, bro. When they had him sing America the Beautiful, I went, great, perfect. We didn't talk about this, but when they did America the Beautiful, they were showing previews of what's to come for the evening. They were showing like the build-ups to the matches. Mm-hmm. And I went, yes, this is how you use the opening song of a pay-per-view, by making it part of the wrestling show, not just, and here's a musical act. And then when that was over, they're like, and now here's a musical act. And I was like, God damn it. Wasting my fucking time with this douchebag. I don't fucking know. Sorry, I'm sure he's a lovely man. I don't mean to call him a douchebag. He seems like a very talented individual.
He's great on the bear.
Music. I'm just very old. He's great on the bear. That's not him.
What?
I think you mean Letterkenny. He's great on Letterkenny.
Oh. So yeah, Logan Paul with not my favorite person in the world. Logan Paul's that too. At least he can perform in a match though, and I'm like, all right, I'll tolerate this. Versus LA Knight for the United States Championship. By
the way, when Logan Paul, when like it reveals that it's MGK, I in that moment I went like, oh, it's Logan Paul and Logan Paul on meth, like the two of them standing next to each other.
Methy Paul.
MGK is just, that's what the M stands for.
So, they were all there.
LA Knight rolls in with the truck that he stole the night prior on SmackDown and successfully, upon the second attempt, bashes the driver's window. I got a little worried when it bounced off that first time. I went, oh no, you should have tested to make sure this actually breaks.
Well, I was glad that he also stuck with the weapon and didn't go like, I'll use my elbow or something.
Yeah, didn't Taker it.
Goldberg it?
No, when Taker in the last ride accidentally broke the wind. I mean, yes, Goldberg did that as well. But I'm just talking about making himself.
He didn't learn from Goldberg, idiot.
No, he didn't. Yeah. That's because it was too hot in Saudi Arabia. They couldn't speak. They were both too winded. I'm gonna just try to be that person who's like very talented athlete. Logan Paul. He did very talented athlete things.
He did one crazy move.
That springboard was the weirdest springboard I've ever seen because his feet were together, which you never see that because it's all about having a nice wide base,
Uh-huh.
And so that was insane. The guy's a freak of nature when it comes to athletics. I just fucking don't want to see him. I'm just so fucking sick of this piece of shit. I just don't want to see him on my TV.
I think you get a break for a while.
Thank God he lost his fucking title. Eli deserves this. I'm sorry. LA deserves this. I hope LA Knight has a nice long run with this title, makes it something special because God knows, as entertaining as a talent, physically that Logan Paul is, I don't give two shits about him as champion. It did nothing for the title. I think it did something for WWE. Like, oh, he's this big global internet star, and he brought all these other viewers and and all this other shit. Whether or not, that matters to us is I don't give a fuck.
I think it did enough for people going like, someone's got to beat this guy. Someone's got to beat him.
Sure.
Because I sat with anticipation going like, man, if LA Knight doesn't win, I'm going to be really bummed out.
Same. Hard. You could ask Alexandra. I was very much like dejected through this match. Because I was just like, come on.
He might retain. Oh, no.
Has he won anything LA Knight at this point? Have they just fed him to everybody and everything?
Yeah. So it was nice to see him get a win. I thought they did it in a really solid manner too, where Logan Paul is going to go cheese, going to go grab brass knucks from Machine Gun Kelly, and somehow, if they were real brass knucks, they didn't break Machine Gun Kelly's neck.
Or the other,
from weighing, a pound and a half. Right. And so he takes him from his neck and then puts him on his hand and is on the ring apron. And when LA Knight goes to grab him, he does a short little jab to LA Knight's head. Right. And I thought it was all sold appropriately, where it's like, it knocks him loopy, but Logan Paul's too slow to capitalize on it. He's going to go do the hangman clothesline, but it gives LA Knight enough time to recuperate, hit him with a finisher in a very fast and explosive manner. Crowd erupts, goes nuts, and villagers rejoice.
And they did a good job on commentary of like, that wasn't like the KO punch that he usually, like he didn't, it was a very short little jab and he hit him in the head, not in the face, so they try to sell that, like, I think they tried to sell LA Knight no selling, but
he
think
was selling.
Yeah.
It was,
no, he definitely did.
It was like, he's loopy, but he could have time to recuperate and be a little goofy.
Yeah. And yeah, I was super excited. Seeing him raise that title, I was very excited. I was like, you know what? I'm all for this, even though I would like to see him with a different title. I'm glad he's got one. The guy's been wrestling for so long to never hold a WWE singles title until this point in his career. It's kind of an insane thing, and so I'm glad it's finally here.
Well, and all the other things. I'm glad he's going the trajectory of a title rather than he got a Money in the Bank or he got a this or that.
Yep.
Was this when we got Jelly Roll shenanigans, or was that later?
No, that was like right before the main event.
Okay.
It was the last thing before the main event because I think they wanted to take a break between the two title matches. So they sent out Miz.
Oh, right. All right.
Truth, and then Grayson Waller and all that bullshit.
So next up then was the WWE Women's Championship. Bayley was the champ versus Queen Nia Jax. And post that other match of like going, man, if fucking LA Knight doesn't win, I'm going to be bummed out. And then going, it's a second women's title match. I don't know if I really give a shit. I started to check out.
Same. This is when I think we were like, let's take the dogs for a walk. It's like, I don't like Nia. Even commentary at one point said, yeah, she's just, you can't stand around. You hit her with a big move. You really got to get on her and capitalize. When commentary is literally explaining what makes her an unexciting wrestler to watch, that beyond kayfabe, we have a problem. I get it. You're a big monster. You don't need to run around. I understand wrestling like an Andre the Giant. But when you hit a big move, at least make it seem like you're attempting to win the match. And it's just like, we've talked about this for ages. She just lumbers. There's just a level of lumbering that, like, she's so boring.
Yeah. I would have been into this match or been excited for it when it's our other PLEs, when we have a 4-card show. And I know, it's going to go 25 minutes, whatever, but my attention span is there because also that's going to be the one women's world title on the line, and it's going to feel like a big deal.
Right.
Because we had story in the other one, we have turns, we have that, and I go like, all right, so what are the consequences here? And I haven't been watching SmackDown on the regular. I tend to watch Raw. I tend to forget about SmackDown for some reason. But Bayley the champ doesn't do anything for me. It's not anything horrible. Queen Nia Jax doesn't do anything for me. It isn't anything horrible.
Oh, God. Alexandra was like, with the whole. First off, Alexander was like, "What is this fucking crown?" And she was like making fun of like even the way that she was trying to get to the ring and put it on, and she was like, "Oh, honey," she was doing a lot of that. But I also had this thought, and I don't know that we've talked about this yet. We might have. I'm not sure if a lot of our listeners are aware, but sometimes I can be a bit forgetful about what happens on this program.
So what?
Like King of the Ring rhymes. That's why it sounds good. Because it's a fun little rhyme. It's a, king and ring. King of the ring.
Okay.
King of the ring. It rolls right off the tongue. Queen of the Ring. And Alexandra was attempting to defend this because she's a poet. And she was like, well, it's still a slant rhyme. And she told me and explained to me. I was like, okay, but Queen of the Ring does not roll off the tongue. It sounds bad. Queen of the Ring. There's something about the way that those words come out of your mouth that just don't sound good, in my opinion. So they keep saying it over and over again, and it sounds cornier than King of the Ring. King of the Ring, it's like, yeah, King of the Ring, King of the Ring. Maybe it's just the longevity that we've had it for a long time. Maybe it is the rhyme. I don't know. But in any case,
what do you got? What do you got as a backup?
I was trying to think stuff, and I can't think of anything that rhymes with, queen or things that rhyme with like, because you don't want to do princess or anything like that because it's too diminutive. You still want it to be power. Empress is so attached to Asuka that might be a tough one, but maybe it doesn't have to be, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. The Queen is a tough one to rhyme with.
So many words that rhyme with Queen though. Maybe they don't have it in the ring. Maybe they have it somewhere else. Like Walgreen, like not Walgreens, just one of them.
Queen of a Walgreen?
Queen of a Walgreen. There you go.
It literally sounds like a fucking on your mark pay-per-view.
It probably will be.
Queen of Walgreen.
I need to write that down.
That's good.
Yeah.
But anyways, Nia's just doesn't do anything for me anymore. And they even made a point in a promo at some point during the week. I don't know what show this is, if this is Raw or SmackDown, where Bayley literally says to her, like, yeah, you think that we don't like you. We don't like you because you're clumsy and reckless. She's literally explaining again, you have your opponent explaining why you're a bad wrestler on television. You have commentary explaining why you're a bad wrestler. This isn't working.
That was such a weird thing to see because I did see that highlight package through something else and seeing Bayley say those things about Nia. It's like, you're dangerous. You hurt people. Hold on.
You're a wrestler.
That's what Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's kind of all about. They are trying to hurt each other and one got hurt in the ring. Like there has to be a better distinction of that.
I will say it was
hey, we're supposed to be safe at the end of the night.
It was better in context, I will say. That when I saw the promo package, I had the same exact thought you did, where it's like, oh, that sounds weird. But the actual promo itself, it was laid out in a better context that made it less like, hey, don't hurt me, which is what it.
I'm champion. Stop it.
Right. Anyways, we've spent too much time on this match already.
The powerbomb moment was crazy, for sure.
That was cool. I like Bayley. I like watching Bayley just against people that aren't Nia Jax.
More like Buffly.
Even Nia Jax's like finisher, the Yokozuna. What did he used to call it?
The A cup.
Okay.
Whatever you were, you're going down to an A cup. She's going to squish him.
Even that, like, it's not. It doesn't.
Bonsai splash.
Yeah, it's not working right. I have nothing. It doesn't seem like anything is working, and I don't. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't think
that crown works for me, girl.
Alexandra
Gunther's not even trying with the crown. He's like, fuck this.
Alexandra was remarking about how pretty Nia is. Like, God, she was like, she's related to The Rock, right? And I was like, yeah.
That's why she's queen in the ring and women's champion.
She was like, wow, this family's got great bone structure. And I was like, I know, right?
She applying for a job? What's going on?
Yeah.
So Nia Jax wins with things and is now queen and champ. So good on them for solidifying the stipulation of the queen of the ring and the king of the ring where,
right.
Hey, you get a title shot at SummerSlam
it's like a Rumble now, where except it's SummerSlam's Royal Rumble is what the King of the Ring is now. Queen of the Ring.
So that was fine. Then we get into what I was looking forward to, and what I told my buddy, because there was talk of like, hey, do you want to go see Deadpool and Wolverine tonight? I'm like, well, I just saw it again 2 days ago, but sure. But hey, I got to see Punk and McIntyre. So once that's over, it's fair game.
I was the most excited about this match for the evening. And in my opinion, it did not disappoint. I enjoyed it. There were definitely a few moments. There are a few moments where I went like, oh, okay. Like, but not because it was bad, but because I like these people and I want everybody to be okay.
There are a few moments where I go, let's tighten up this community theater production real quick and move on to wrestling.
Sure.
But overall, I enjoyed it a lot too. I had theories of what would be the ending of it, but I couldn't quite, it's sometimes you just go like, this is clearly going to happen. And hopefully the journey is fun, but you see the writing on the wall, what it's going to be. This had variables for sure. I still would have liked to have seen a match that was just Punk and McIntyre without the Seth Rollins element right away.
Yeah, sure. But I do feel like they kind of wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah, when they wrote Seth Rollins in.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, maybe you're right about that.
Certainly, I'm all for it at some point, but it was just like the first one. Right. Damn it.
Right.
And it was great. It was great to see them finally lay their hands on each other, building the anticipation of the bell hasn't rung yet. They can't touch each other. The bell rings and they go flying at each other and just start wailing away.
Yeah. God, the psychologist match was so good. And I'm giving a ton of credit to Rollins because outside of turning his back when something would be potentially illegal, with the exception of the chair, which was like where he draw his line or whatever, he didn't fast count ever. He did call most things down the middle. And even when we got to the bracelet bit, they did a decent job of like, it was clear that he picked it up, looked at it, and didn't quite know what to do with it. So he just quickly put it on as a referee to get it out of the way. But they didn't do that thing that WWE would have done maybe 3 years ago.
Doan does all the time when women's hair falls out that's been weaved in or extensions. Then he goes like, well, better just get this out of the way. Let me just tie it into my hair real quick.
That's not an equal equation because it's just a quick little thing.
Tassels onto their legs.
His pockets weren't real. Seth's pockets he was wearing, his Sabu pants, they were not real pockets. They were just stitches. He couldn't put it in his pocket.
What era are we in that Nia Jax no longer has pockets and the refs don't have pockets? Like, I don't care for this. Go back to the good old days.
But anyways, what I was trying to say, the point I was attempting to make was a few years ago, it would have been this like very big, extreme close-up of the camera of what he was doing. They didn't draw a big, giant circle around it to the point where it was overproduced. And it was just like, no, we got it. We saw it in the side of the ring or in the side of our screen. He picked it up. He put it on his bracelet to get out of the way.
If he didn't see it,
didn't care about it.
It wasn't that big of a deal because you could have noticed it as the match was going on, but then Punk sees that he's wearing it.
Right.
And that can be the moment. And Punk going like, what are you doing? Why are you wearing that? And Seth going like, huh? Why?
Right. I just picked it up. I promise you I'm not screwing you. And him going, you trying to screw me? No, I'm not trying to screw you. And but even earlier when he...
But that's where it lost me a little bit. I'm like, give it to him. Why are you arguing about this?
Well, that felt like, that beat went on one. That was sort of where I was like, one beat too long. But
like, just take it off and go like, no, I just...
Here.
The immediate, like, someone would take it off. If you're holding someone else's thing and you're wearing it, of all things, it's like, why do you have that? Oh, here.
Right.
And then the other person can still be outraged and be like, why do you have that? What's going on? Like, go ahead and take it.
Well, that's because they needed to come around to that again, I guess, later when he hits him with the GTS and takes it off of him.
Yeah.
But I want to say that moment just prior to that, which is when Punk first started doing the, are you screwing me? Is when he took the hit to the outside, meaning Seth did. And then Punk goes for the pin and they get a 7 count, but he was out and he came in and he started counting fair. And at that point, he kicked out, but Punk was in the wrong. Not in the wrong, but like Punk had no reason to be upset at him at this point. Like they did a really good job of keeping both of our face characters that everybody likes kind of right about things, but then the brilliant psychology switch where Punk, for all the shit he's been talking about Drew, not keeping his eye on the prize, not focusing, concentrating too much on him and not on his opponents, both in Seth and in Damian Priest. Now Punk is not practicing what he's preaching because Punk's not concentrating on Drew. He's concentrating on this fucking bracelet and on Seth. And it's brilliant because Drew can now be the sly guy like, oh, you didn't keep your eye on the prize. Why were you concentrating on something that wasn't your opponent? And like Punk here kind of comes out a little bit of the buffoon in a way that I kind of like because it's like
in the way that
you now
Drew has
have
been
this
the whole time.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
Because Drew was that like, hey man, just keep your eye on it. Don't bother with Punk. I agree with
so good
with all of that, with the exception of I always found Seth to be a problem, or I didn't believe what he was doing, or something weird. Because then he also at one point has a chair and he's going to hit Drew with it, and Drew moves out of the way or does something, and then he almost hits Punk.
Right,
and Punk's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" Okay, you're the referee. You're holding the chair. You clearly want to hit Drew with it. And then you walk away and have this dismayed moment of like, what have I done? I wanted to hit, but I almost hit Punk. Like, you still have the desire to hit the other guy with the chair, and you can. Why did this end?
Wasn't this, if I could be wrong here, but is this not like Brett, Taker, and Shawn? Didn't they like redo this beat from years ago?
There is, I know, Austin, Brett elements of their story. Of like an overall, they keep fucking with one another is thrown into theirs, but beyond that, I don't know.
Okay, because I felt to me like this, they went through the beats of Brett versus Taker with Shawn Michaels as the referee.
Okay.
Like that whole chair thing, I'm pretty sure they lifted. SummerSlam 1997. Apparently they kind of lifted this moment from, which is like whenever they do that, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fun. Don't draw too big a circle around it and don't like make it make sense at least. And
I feel like that other one probably made sense. And this one, I had issues. Right. And then
this is like the moment, what I'm referring to is the match that everybody always cites as like, oh, this was the beginning of the Attitude Era. Like once this happened, this match was what they always cite, at least in the WWE Network exclusive WWE Attitude Era.
The Attitude Era started when Triple H was like, we're DX. Hey, lady, lift your shirt up. And she did it. That's Attitude.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the Attitude. But honestly, dude, I just loved this. I'm glad, so glad Punk is here. I like Seth more than you do. I love Drew as well. Like I'm all aboard all of this. This was fun. I can't believe Punk lost his first match back as a singles, but also I kind of love it because he's the guy with the chip on his shoulder and it's just good.
And he had the bracelet and then it gets taken away from Drew because you're like, well, at least he gets to keep this bracelet. Son of a bitch, Drew is taking it.
Drew still take it. And he kisses it. It's honestly, this was great. This was great. I loved it.
I really enjoyed it. I was glad it happened. My qualms with it don't ruin it by any stretch. It just goes to me. It's like, yeah, Seth is Seth,
right? And at this point,
popping out eyeballs, or he's not a believable actor. Great, I'm glad he's going to be in Captain America: Brave New World. Jesus,
no, I don't
Christ.
think he's in that anymore. I think he got replaced.
Did they cut him?
I think that I at least that's like a thing I saw in passing on the internet. But at this point in the show is when Alexander said, that was the main event, right? And I was like, no, there's another one. And I thought it would be soon, but then we had to sit through R-Truth, The Miz, Jelly Roll, and, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, a.k.a. the Ricky Morty.
Yeah, I was bummed. Like,
one too many things. One too many things, Truth. I love you, R-Truth. You always make me laugh, but this might have been one too many things.
Yeah. It's like, those guys never get a shout out on WWE television. They never get their footage shown on WWE television. Don't say that these guys are them. Man.
But whatever. Jelly Roll got to swing a chair. He got to drop people's elbow. Pretty decent, or I'm sorry, people's elbow. Entire 5-knuckle shuffle. Pretty decent 5-knuckle shuffle. I'm not gonna lie.
A crazy.
I think he looked better than the Miz did.
A crazy choke slam.
Oh right, the choke slam, the one-arm choke slam. I almost forgot about that. It looked great. I mean, he's not a little man, Jelly Roll. So this isn't Bad Bunny doing a choke slam.
No, but he did have Otis Titus, where
yes,
where it's the same thing. Like when I've been watching Otis again, I go, okay, he's not doing the caterpillar anymore, right? Because he can't ever get up from it.
Right.
It's impressive to see him do the gyrations on the floor, but then as he tries to get up to do the elbow,
right,
he already looks like a legend trying to do this move that he's been doing for 30 years, and it's like, this part's hard.
Oh no.
Jelly Roll, I thought they were going to cut away. So after he does the 5-knuckle shuffle,
I thought that too.
and then it's both guys having to help him up like, yeah.
I mean, he's a big boy and a wrestling ring is not solid ground.
Right.
And if you're not used to getting up and the ropes aren't solid, so a lot of times you see people grab ropes to help them up and then they just pull the rope down. It's not actually a point of stability.
Yeah, I've thankfully never had to do that yet. I've had to realize, I need to walk through the ropes and make sure that I don't fall down or.
Right.
It's weird. It is super weird. It is.
Yeah,
it's not quite a trampoline. It is not a normal surface to walk on.
Yeah,
it is not a stable, reliable anything.
But that happened, and luckily it didn't go on for too long. It did go on too long in the definition of longer than it should have, but it didn't go on so long that it became a problem.
It was tricky because it didn't feel like I know it was certainly a palate cleanser, but that was still a good taste in my mouth. You know what I mean?
Right.
It felt like this palate cleanser could have been somewhere else in the show that probably could have helped serve. Maybe it could have helped Bayley and Nia Jax more, Yeah.
But 15 years ago, this slot would have been a 2-minute match between Bayley and Nia Jax. So let's just be thankful at least.
Well, wait. So this happened because we had one more match still before the main event.
Oh, am I forgetting one?
Yeah. The other world title, the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest versus Gunther.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about this match. I totally forgot about that.
So I checked out.
So it was after this match that she said is at the main event.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
So I kind of checked out doing this one and just hoping to get to the end because I just want to see Gunther be champ and move on from Damian Priest. He doesn't really do anything for me. That's nice that he's the bisexual Undertaker. That doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, same. Like I don't dislike him as much as I did.
Like,
when
I
he
don't care if
NXT.
someone's also going to tell me like, oh, that's the Democrat Kane. Like that. I don't care about it.
No, to me, the Judgment Day was the best thing that happened to him, and now they are returning him to pre-Judgment Day Priest, and that is like, he just doesn't do anything for me. He's definitely like a good athlete. Some things he's doing he just shouldn't be doing, as far as like wrestling goes, but they sure love him, and clearly Triple H loves him, and they want to put fucking rocket skates on him like he's in fucking Toe Jam and Earl, and yeah. I mean, they took the title from him, so I'm glad about that because I sure am happy that Gunther is our fucking world heavyweight champion. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, he's got an interesting look. He's got an interesting presence to him and everything. But from what I've seen of all the Judgment Day stuff and where his role is at lately, where he's going the route of being a face and he wasn't quite a face, but he's in the role of a champion and saying like, I'm going to do this on my own. He didn't have the time to just be something. He was on the fence for a long time, so it's hard for the crowd to get on board, or he's fighting someone else that the crowd goes, well, I kind of like them too. He didn't have someone definitively where the crowd is supposed to feel, I like Damian Priest over somebody else and for these actions that he does.
If they had like 2 or 3 more months when Damian first won the title, where he was just full-on heel champion with Judgment Day, of them just helping him and him just being, and then after a little bit of that, him kind of having the, the like come to Jesus-y, like I do want to be. Yeah, I do want to be a better champion. Have another face that maybe he has a respect for. Call him out for being a coward or for not being a man, or like, you know. But it's tough because they made his cash in on a heel Drew a babyface cash in, so he kind of got screwed from the start there. But they didn't have to. Like, they could have still leaned into him being an opportunist, like heel. But yeah, I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say.
I do.
They solidified him more.
It's all kind of the wrong
Yeah.
place, wrong time. But we needed someone to do it, and we're gonna make it up to you, buddy. You'll
Right,
see.
100%.
Right, Drew McIntyre? Only it took us a few years, but
yeah,
we'll get
this
to
match wasn't bad, but it just went. It's just too. I don't get me wrong. I don't mind two people fucking slapping each other.
Yeah.
But after a while, it's just kind of like, okay, all right, let's move on.
But in this, this one, I'm also
go ahead.
going. Yeah, I'm ready for Gunther to be champ. You can just show me that, but I'm holding out for my excitement for Cody because that's
Right.
the world champ to me.
100%.
So again, two on the same show, and I'm just going like, yeah.
And this one is called World, by the way. This is the world champion. The other one is just WWE champion.
There's
now.
a world
So
in
it's
that, and one of them W's though.
Sure. The World Wrestling Entertainment Champion. Oh, I see what you're saying.
But then we get, fresh out of Seth Rollins' acting school, we get Finn Balor coming out and playing the role of what Dominic did earlier, and we get more repetition again in this night of
The Judgment Day imploding.
Finn Balor deciding to come out and screw up all the merchandise sales and not get any more cash, I guess.
This to me felt like a turn that was necessary. Like, we had all seen it coming. They've been telling the story. I feel like this turn could have happened tomorrow on Raw versus at the pay-per-view. And I don't know. There could have been something that happened backstage that made, I'm not saying like a backstage attack, but something that made it so that Priest wasn't at his A game. That way he can still blame it on him come after the fact. But to have just another Judgment Day member turn on Judgment Day member at the end of a match just feels very much like you just said. Didn't we see this right?
Yeah, we saw this the same night. This isn't uniquely different. The only thing that I really wanted is if we're doing this, like, is cool. Is Gunther get out of the ring and then make out with Finn Balor?
Oh shit!
Because if we're gonna repeat, let's go full hog, baby.
Not for nothing, but where's that fucking fanfic?
I'm writing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't dislike that it happened. I just dislike that it happened at this specific spot at this specific time when something so close happened to it. Similarly,
Yeah,
it does make me wonder. Like, what does Finn join Liv and Dominic, or are they now the Judgment Day? Is this the excommunication of him from Judgment Day and Rhea, or are Rhea and him going to stay Judgment Day, and then the rest of them, like, I'm kind of curious.
Miz and R-Truth take it over.
Okay.
And also, Gunther has been such a dominant force for so long. He needed the help to win this.
But he didn't really, because it didn't end up actually cost. Like, I think they did a good job of, like, the moment that we thought maybe he would get the pin because of Finn, he didn't. He kicked out and then had that realization.
Yeah, but it's still just someone else came down to do it.
Right.
Nia didn't have that.
Sure. I understand.
He's been on such a trajectory. Why not, at least for the sake of being different, like, why not have the match conclude and then Finn come out and go like, hey, it's okay, buddy. We're together forever. You're a disappointment, kicking the ball,
Right.
something.
Right.
I don't know.
The old, I get you. Give him the old KO.
But yeah, this happened. I think the outcome is what was needed. So
Right.
Braun takes the spot of what Gunther was. Now Gunther's moving on to being a dominant secondary world champion. Then we had our jelly roll. And then the other WWE world title, the undisputed WWE championship, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa in a bloodline rules match, which means you get to walk your dog.
Okay, wait. We can't gloss over this.
What have I glossed over?
I'm afraid that you're about to, because I really want to talk about the dog.
About Pharaoh?
I don't know what the fuck was said by Arn Anderson. I don't remember anything exciting or interesting about the entrance with the helmet. I think there was a helmet. He took it off, put it on, and then immediately took it off. For the first 3 minutes of this match, 4 minutes of this match, all I could think of was fuck you, Corey Graves, for saying, oh, you saw the look in his eye when he reached out and kissed Pharaoh. Pharaoh's been with him for a long time. This is Pharaoh's last trip. What the fuck is happening to Pharaoh? All I could think about for the first part of this match was, is Pharaoh okay? Are they going to put down Pharaoh? Why did they draw a circle around this being his last trip and then not tell us anything else? You gave us no other information. Where's the Pharaoh video package?
Well, that's why Arn Anderson was there, because he's always got a Glock and he's always ready.
No, Scott, I don't like this at all.
He's going to shoot him. That's what he's there for. And then was saying, you have other friends that'll be here for you. And those are his dogs now.
I don't know. We were both very distraught about Pharaoh. I really wanted to know.
I was confused too. I was asking my friend, I'm like, what are they talking about the dog? Like, he won't be there anymore. What? And Cody looks like he's going to cry.
I know, but if it's one thing, it's like, oh, he's getting up there in age and Cody's decided not to take him on the road with him anymore, but he's still fine. He's going to live a nice, happy life at home. But they made it seem like after the match tonight, they're bringing him to the local.
I thought if Jacob Fatu sees him, he's going to eat the dog.
Is that a thing that werewolves do?
Small werewolves do.
I was very distracted by the dog. Honestly, I thought about Pharaoh for the first half of this entire match.
So we don't know. As of right now, you didn't look it up in between?
No, I don't want to know, maybe. I don't know. I do want to know, but not if it's bad.
Well, first off, it does look like Seth Rollins is cut from...
Yeah, see, I thought I saw that.
I'm seeing dual reports. He's still part of this. He's been deleted. Seth Rollins is neither confirmed nor denied.
Matt Hardy got to him?
God, Seth Rollins and Harrison Ford, the same movie. Jesus Christ. Put a gun in my mouth. Arn Anderson, help me, please. Pharaoh. I never know how to spell Pharaoh.
Pharaao.
I think I got it.
Wait.
So I'm looking it up. This is from 3 days ago from SE Scoops. Cody Rhodes dog for retiring from wrestling travel due to age. No one retires in wrestling, not even dogs. So Pharaoh the dog, the beloved pet of Cody and Brandi Rhodes and very good boy, is taking his final road trip this weekend. The Undisputed Champion shared on Instagram that the 13-year-old husky is still thriving, but slowing down a bit and is content living a more domesticated life at home. So that's what's going on. He's no longer going to be on the road with Cody.
Okay, good.
Him and Brandi Rhodes will be trying out new characters at home.
Okay, good.
I want to zoom in.
I love that boy. That's such a good boy, Pharaoh.
Oh, there's a video of Arn Anderson shooting him. Yeah, he's dead.
So Bloodline rules, which I thought strictly had to do with The Rock. I thought Bloodline rules meant The Rock is in charge, so he gets to decide what refs count what.
Bloodline
so
rules means who's Cody's friends. That's what it means.
100%. Were you massively let down by Kevin Owens and Orton like I was?
I misunderstood what Arn was talking about.
It made it seem like those guys are taken out.
What I thought he was alluding to was, since he's here, don't worry, in the future, more of your friends are going to show up, like how I'm here now. So I took it all as like, I didn't take it for on the night.
No, see, the way I took it was, I know that your boys have been taken out. Okay? That's what we've heard for weeks. And on commentary, the Bloodline took out both Kevin Owens and Orton. Therefore, they're not going to be there to help them. This is what I thought was the whole fucking point, was that he is alone against the Bloodline in a Bloodline rules match because KO is out. So RKO is out.
But he's got a dog in the dude from Gran Torino.
So my interpretation was like, oh, Arn saying, don't worry, it turns out I still have some pull around here. So I made some calls and we're going to take care of you. So I was expecting surprise people. To be perfectly honest with you, I thought, oh, Cena. This is going to be the beginning of the Cena retirement tour is what I thought. Because I was expecting surprises. Who is a friend of Punk's that we have not seen that would be a fun surprise?
Cody?
Of Cody, that Arn could give a call and have a little bit of pull. That was my interpretation of that whole thing, which is why I just was like, great, who's going to come save him? Because it's
I bought Ric Flair back, and now he's yours.
Oh my God. What if it was just Charlotte? And then we cut back to Arn. He's like, it was the only number I actually had. These people, I don't know any of these people anymore.
It could be David Flair. That'd be fine. But I thought it'd be someone different.
Yeah, when KO came out, I went, what? I thought that you told us repeatedly he was not there. Why did it take him so long?
Yeah, why not just tell him, like, hey, why don't you just give me Kevin Owens' number? It was really hard to get it.
Also, why didn't Randy come out with him? Why not even the odds immediately? Why send one person out at a time? Like, honestly, I was not happy with the latter half of this match. I enjoyed how it started. I think Solo's really getting good as a wrestler. Not that he was bad, but like he's coming into his own. Cody's fucking incredible.
Why is Tonga Loa trying to look like Rocky Romero? What the hell is that about?
This whole I did not understand the Kevin Owens RKO thing. I think that you told us a premise was going to happen, and then in the third act went, forget that premise. Like, that would be the shittiest movie if it was like halfway through the movie, like, oh, too bad these guys can't be there, but don't worry, I know someone who's going to help you. And it's those guys that we said couldn't be there. Like, this is bad writing.
And it's already the time of the show, and why not just Arn and say, like, hey, you're going to be okay, buddy.
Right.
You know, I love you. I'm here for you. I can't be out there for you. But don't worry. You're going to be all right. And not allude to, hey, the people who are going to be there for you, don't worry. They know Solo can't get it done in the first 20 minutes, no matter whoever could come out and help, because with all these, why don't they come out right away and do something? So they're going to wait 20 minutes, and they know the date and the time, but they're still incredibly late. So
right.
You should be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't thrilled with this match in its entirety as much as I think some of the other internet was. But when it all looks lost and hopeless, who returns to save Cody Rhodes or to hurt Solo? We don't really truly know.
What tough cookie does.
All right. So Roman comes out, and listen, since we don't have the live chat here, I would like to read some of the suggestions of what OTC stood for in the Discord. So Gil comes right off the bat with an actual response, which is one true chief, which is good. I assumed it just stood for original tribal chief because they don't change the words of anything.
Yeah.
So they would not change true to tribal to true. But then you added one tough cookie. Mike Lucas, aka Hackensack, over the counter, which I don't know why, but I enjoy that. Tim Redbeard on the cusp.
Of what? More leukemia?
Oh, that's rude.
Dude, he's already had too much. That's not fair. Let that spread throughout the bloodline.
Gilbert says only the cunty, which I truly appreciate. I was surprised by Gil. I was like, come on, man. You're not British. You can't be throwing that around. Mike Lucas says orange the crayon, and Gil responds with, no, that's Braun, which I thought was a very good point.
And Harold wouldn't have any part of that right now.
And then this is my favorite. Lastly, Tim Redbeard wrote...
Ashley. I'm sorry, that's someone else's joke, apparently.
Tim Redbeard wrote, one touch cock, which is hilarious. But the best part about it was that afterwards he responds, that was a typo, but so much funnier than what I intended. I'm assuming he meant to write tough, one tough cock. But instead he wrote one touch cock, which, you know what?
That's my policy.
A+. Good job in the Discord. Once again, if you're not in the Discord during live WWE or AEW events, you definitely should be.
I mean, I could totally get behind a Roman Reigns being one tough cookie.
One tough cookie, baby. Especially if it teams up with Cookie Monster Punk eventually.
Oh, man. Those two tough cookies.
OTCM, they can call it. One tough cookie monster. Although the one is now no longer replicable. It would be T2. Anyways. So,
Two for T.
Cody retains, as I think we all expected.
Roman comes out for the save. Not really the save. I should clarify. Roman Reigns comes out, just, makes the clear decision of he's going to take out Solo, sees Cody, leaves him be.
Ignores him.
The crowd has erupted. They've been, I think, as far as timing goes, like, the timing of this was great. The crowd had been demanding Roman's return. It had been escalating, and it felt like this was the fever pitch that they wanted him there.
Right.
Again, one of those moments where you go, felt like this was going to happen, and you go, knew he was going to be there, but it didn't matter. It was great.
100%.
It was right, and you wanted it to happen. And then, because if it didn't happen, then it'd be a total fucking letdown. And it helps establish Solo didn't beat Cody. He beat him once before in the tag match, so it's still not determined. Could Solo beat Cody one-on-one?
Right.
The bloodline is now like the Judgment Day. They're fucked.
Right.
And what is this set up?
Does Roman reclaim his position and have Solo step down but stay loyal? Or is Solo excommunicated from the group, but then the Tongans and Jacob Fatu stay with Roman? Or does Roman bring back the Usos?
Does he just take Jacob Fatu and go, this guy's cool?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I am excited for what this is going to be, but I also simultaneously, we already did Bloodline Civil War, and I liked it. But then when it was over, they just undid it. And so if we're going to do it again, are we just going to undo it again? Like, the Bloodline is one of the better stories they've had going on for a few years now. But I do feel like it's coming to a point where we either need to shit or get off the pot.
Why not do both?
Yeah.
Why not shit at full speed running away from the pot?
Well, we'll see. Roman will probably be on SmackDown. Wait, which title? I can't remember what fucking show is what.
SmackDown.
Okay, yeah. So
he's a massive babyface right now.
Yep.
So the people, this is now fully changed. We're in full. Like, there was certainly a lot of respect for him in his long title reign, and
people even as a heel, people were throwing the ones up, and they still liked Roman. He was still selling a ton of merchandise as the tribal chief.
Right.
Yeah,
but it was but we still like to see someone beat you for the title, or
right.
You're cool, and it was cool to like him because he was bad. But now everyone, like the little kids and everyone, go like, I love Roman Reigns now.
Yep.
What is the landscape for that amongst the Bloodline story, where we get to see a good guy Roman Reigns that won't be rhyming or saying, suffer and succotash under a different regime.
Right.
This is going to be very interesting to see what this will be.
This is what they wanted Roman to be 10 years ago. We're literally just rolled the clock back, except now we're all actually in on it. And we're all like, yeah, no, Roman's the fucking guy. Versus being like, oh, great, he beat Brock Lesnar for the 9th time, and he beat John Cena twice, and he beat Undertaker 17 times, and it's just like, and nobody thought he had anything. We were all just like, yeah, whatever. Like, it actually paid off.
I think we did think he had something. It was just like, no, we don't want him right now in this way. Stop forcing it, and can we boo him instead? We'd like that more.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But
it was, at some point, we got other guys we like. Can you do something with them?
Right. But I mean, I like the ending. I was just like hoping for a little bit more of a surprise than Randy and KO, because again, lying to us and then doing the opposite is not good storytelling. That's writing 101. That's not how twists work. That's not how surprises work. You don't just tell your audience one thing and then do the opposite and then go, haha, aren't you surprised? So outside of that, nice ending. Roman's back. I'm excited to see what happens. And Cody's still the champ. And all in all, a very good show. A very good SummerSlam.
Certainly, when WrestleMania has that feel of, oh, it's the season finale now, all these things are starting anew. They went with a lot of new in this.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked by the amount of new Intercontinental Champ, new U.S. Champ.
Yeah,
Judgment Day split up.
4 out of 2 titles changed hands. I'm sorry. 4 out of 6 titles changed hands. Right? And
the bracelet was like a scramble match.
3 major factions split up.
Yeah, and different sightings. So a lot of shit has happened, and the return of Roman Reigns. Like, this was a very epic, and they did a lot in one night.
Yeah.
That I thought maybe would be sparsed out a little bit more, but I guess they just put a lot out there for the American audience.
They got plans
in Cleveland, because overall, yeah, they don't do a lot of these PLEs in America this year.
Yeah.
So hopefully you had a fucking good time if you're in Cleveland, because if you didn't, like, that was it. That was everything.
Well, Scott Narver, we do have to pick our PWP champ. Do you want to do that before or after a hotline call?
Oh, I'd say we do it now while we have the live stream. Oh, shit. Yeah, let's do it now.
Alrighty. So, if you're not sure what this is, well, head on over to patreon.com/PW Palskis. Read all about it. I'm a newsie.
The quick of it is, we have other, content and things to incentivize you to throw a little bit of cash our way to help grow the show and keep the lights on or the gas in the tank as one may be traveling across the country to head back home. But we also give things. We incentivize you with prizes and titles and all that kind of stuff. So that's what this is. This is the ultimate prize, being the PWP champ.
Absolutely. Current PWP champ Gilbert Short set a record for the longest title reign, most championship victories, and most. Oh yeah, no, that was it. Most. Those are the two. Those are the two categories. Will he add? Will he broaden the gap between those behind him for that record, or will we see a new champion? This is the time to find out. Once again, the winner of our monthly giveaway here gets an item of their choosing from the shop over at dragonwagonshop.com. You also get to give us a match to add to our watch along series each and every week, where we do exactly that. We throw on a match, we watch along right alongside you. Once again, during the travel, during the internet issues, right now we might miss a few here and there, but bear with us. They're there. I guess that's it. That's all the business, right?
Were you consoling them in the end there?
A little bit.
They're there.
A little bit. Let's do this shit. Without further ado.
No more do.
For the month of August, summer, baby. Oh, man. We're handing records back and forth. And new PWP champion, Andrea Beeler, a.k.a. Pollen Hate, for the month of August. It is Andrea August here over on Pro Wrestling Palskis.
This is the feud of the summer.
Andrea, I believe, is now tied for most reigns, not longest reign, but now tied for most reigns with Gilbert Short. By the way, if the fact that we don't have all these repeat victors, if that doesn't tell you that the odds of winning this is pretty good, like, become a Patreon or become a championship Palski, and your odds of winning are fantastic. And again, the merch you're going to get, it's going to pay for itself in the merch you win. So.
And even still, if you just want the exhilaration and the feeling of like, I think I won, go in with a name. You can make up a name, but have the first name be either Andrea or Gilbert. And you'll have that excitement of like, oh, I won. Oh shit. I thought I won. It was the other one.
Congratulations, Andrea. Thanks for continued support of the program. Thank you, Gilbert, as well. Great run. Thanks to everybody who continues to show support for us here. Scott Narver, let's go see what the hotline has in store for us. What do you say?
Now, Jake, let me say unprompted. We were on about a month ago, right? So wouldn't this voice message potentially be from about a month ago?
Yeah, the call we do have this week is from quite a few weeks back, just after Money in the Bank. But listen, we want to give everybody who calls the hotline an opportunity to be heard. So that's what we're doing here.
What's up, fellas? This is Mr. Vicious Remo Vici, and I just wanted to hit y'all up and talk a little bit about this Money in the Bank. For one, I want to say that Damian Priest is a puss. I can't fucking stand him, bro. You know what I'm saying? He looks funky. He's off all the time. Like, he's just something weird about him. I don't know. He needs some work. He should have gotten away from the Judgment Day. I hope that does happen soon. So I'm sad about him winning. The girls' Money in the Bank, man, the women's Money in the Bank, that match was out of control. Big ups to all the women. They're all the MVPs of the whole night. That was an amazing, amazing freaking match. I also wanted to talk about the Bloodline. Man, I was expecting more. I don't know about y'all. I felt like the Bloodline really needed to look strong, and they needed to look like a dominant force. I felt like they looked kind of la-la. They would come in, do a couple dope things, and then they'd be out real quick, and then they would be bullshitting and throwing a lot of punches and kicks and just a lot of nonsense. Jacob Fatu, man, I was all hyped up, ready to see this dude just be a freaking menace, and he's the main one. Like, he would go in, do a couple moves, he'd be out, and they'd be weird moves. Like, I don't know, he shocked me and surprised me with a couple things he did, like that shit off the top, but man, I expect a lot more. It seems like all these dudes are pretty green still, especially to the WWE style. So hopefully they grow into them roles a little bit quicker. And we'll see what happens with this Civil War whenever Roman comes back and what else happens with that. So anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about that. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I know I had a good time. Like I said, that women's match was dope. All around the pay-per-view was pretty dope, I think, or the PLE, whatever. So anxious to hear what you guys have to say. All right, peace.
Remo V, thanks for the call. Not a fan of Damian Priest, and he kind of is mirroring what I've said in the past too, where there's just like something off. There's something missing, and it's maybe that intangible thing that just makes a superstar. Maybe that's what's missing, and that's why we can't place it, because it is indeed intangible. But I agree. I completely agree. Like, something is just not right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the most I've seen him, I think, throughout his time in WWE, and certainly a lot there. But for me, sometimes it's the hiccups of something, right? Where just a moment and you go, wait, is everybody on board with what's going on? Wait, what happened? Oh, we got stuck in ropes, or this thing happened, and you go, oh, okay, we're back in.
Yeah.
Does he just have buffering issues from time to time?
He's got bad internet. I know all about that. Oh,
man. But also talking about the newer Bloodline guys who, yeah, I mean, for the WWE style, they're thrown right into it. That Tama Tonga was his first match was at that PLE. I don't think it was Money in the Bank, the one before that, but then Tonga Loa will be thrown in. He can't do a nut punch. He does an ass punch, and then Jacob Fatu being thrown in the mix. They're just, hey, you gotta just adapt real fast to go.
Right.
And 1 month later from that Money in the Bank show, the other guys still kind of hold the same. Like, Tama Tonga has a look to him. He's intriguing. He's a little slinky.
Yeah. The way that I interpret it is like Tama Tonga is a better wrestler, but has like no presentation speaking at all whatsoever, and like no like presence. Tonga Loa has a lot of presence, but can't wrestle at all currently.
You talking eye patch? That's Tonga Loa?
Yes, I believe. I mean, unless I'm confused. Yeah, I think that's Tonga Loa.
Okay.
Right. God, I hope I might have that backwards. In any case, eye patch has a lot of presence. I think he's got a great look. He's got size, but that's the guy who did the terrible nut. I couldn't throw a nut punch.
See, I kind of reverse the two.
Really?
I don't know how either of them speak necessarily, but
even when they did,
I think the other one has. I think Tama Tonga has a little bit more presence. It's a little bit more interesting as far as look. Because when I see Tonga Loa now, I'm like, you just look like Rocky Romero, and I already like Rocky Romero.
When they did the acknowledge me bit, the first time Solo asked them all to acknowledge him, Yeah. That's when I was like, oh, okay, I can see who can talk here and who's got a voice and who doesn't. And that's where I developed those opinions.
And where the eyes go, like, are we still doing this?
Right.
Is it up?
But
we doing the next thing?
I am curious, Remo V. It's been almost a month since this call because of how long it's been since we've recorded because of the move. But do you still feel this way? I'm curious. Do you still feel like there's just something not there? Because I think they've done a good job. I think they've shown up. Hell, they're tag champs. Didn't we talk about that? They're tag champions now. They beat DIY on SmackDown.
Oh no!
Because they love beating champions in their hometown, and they beat hometown hero Johnny Wrestling in Cleveland.
And Logan Paul.
Yeah, well, he's from a distant suburb, as we learned. But in any case, was there anything else that you wanted to chat about that call? I mean,
Jacob Fatu, I think, continues to impress. He's incredibly intriguing. He's wild.
Yeah.
He feels unique amongst them. And I hope more comes from all of them for sure. But I think even to your point from before, I think Solo's still got a long way to go.
Sure.
And he's gotten a lot better. He's certainly gotten more comfortable in this leadership role and
he's talking
and talking and doing that. But it's, who knows 3-4 years from now that if you were to show him the footage of now and he's like, I'm embarrassed, I don't want to see that, like it didn't click yet.
Right.
But I guess potentially to the detriment, but I think more to the credit, there are times now where WWE is just throwing people in and going like, you got to do it.
Right.
This is the role we're putting you in and we want you to succeed. So we're trying to give you all the tools to succeed. And if it doesn't keep going, we might take you out of it.
Right.
But we're giving you the opportunity.
I have a theory about Jacob Fatu about why he's so exciting in Bloodline. And I just want to say that I really like him a lot. If you clip this out and like tweet him, I don't want to get murdered because I'm worried he will murder me. But everybody in the Bloodline up until this point has been like really attractive. Like they're an attractive family. I think the Usos are really good looking guys. Roman's good looking. Solo's good looking. You got the Tongans. They're both good looking guys. Jacob Fatu looks like an insane man that they just found in an alley somewhere. And I think that's why is that they're all these like stunners. They're all these dudes who are just gorgeous. And also Jacob Fatu making insane faces in the corner. And I think that's why he's so
you're saying
effective.
Jacob Fatu is more the Samoan elephant man than the werewolf.
I did not say that. Anyways.
You're saying he's the ugliest member of the Bloodline.
That I did say. I did exactly say those things. One thing we didn't talk about was everybody talking about him hurting himself. Like they've never seen wrestling before. Oh my God, he really got injured. That's so terrible. I can't believe Jacob Fatu got injured. Watch the replay. He doesn't even come close to touching anything with either of his legs at all whatsoever. That was a perfect sell because you needed to make sure he couldn't get at Roman.
I felt like I was on an island with that one.
Oh, really? Was that happening in the Discord?
Well, yeah, I think I was saying it later in the morning is maybe when I saw it, or later on in that night. I was like, or he's selling.
I just seen it on Twitter a lot. I've seen people on Twitter like, oh my God, Jacob Fatu looks like he really hurt himself. That's so terrible.
It's like, yeah, he did look like he hurt himself because he acted like he hurt himself.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see him later because you're not going to have Roman and Jacob Fatu touching at the end of the show. That would be insane.
Yeah, that's
he was not involved. Like he had to get out of the match.
100%. Yeah. We had to take him out.
The referees had to take him to the back. Yeah. Because they want him to get away from Roman, because otherwise people go, oh, they're going to attack each other.
Also,
why isn't Jacob Fatu helping?
And everybody's going to go, well, we want that more than Solo. Like, let's just do that now instead of him or Solo. We don't care as much.
We'll get
Solo.
there.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. All right. Anyway, 747-666-5606. That's the number of the Pro Wrestling Palskis hotline, or you can send a voice memo to hotline@pwpalskis.com. Thank you so much for your call, Remo. Sorry it took us so long to get to it, but listen, sometimes a man's got to travel. Papa's a Rolling Stone. Scott Narver, before we go, we do have to thank our current Patreon Palskis.
Oh, this is the only show that hands out Retribution names as well as Maximum Male Model names. Why? Because it's what keeps Jake on the move. It's what keeps him motivated. And it's what's going to bring him back to Los Angeles when he finally makes the Retribution Maximum Male Model movie. So, thank you to AJ0314, aka Binary, aka Matrice69, Alex Pierce, aka Figs, aka Zatoys, Andrea Beeler, aka Pollinate, aka Achu Detest, aka the new PWP champ, Curtis Mason, aka Hurtis, aka Auche, Gilbert Short, aka Goliathon, aka Batal Under Ruse, Maslama, aka Spitz, aka Jakara Lover, Michael Beltran, aka Limestone, aka La Natural, Mike Lucas, aka Hackensack, aka Luge Testicle, Miguel Diaz, aka Bipod, aka Too Much Husk, Suicide, aka Tim Bemis, aka War Trek, aka Tussle Quest, Tim Redbeard, aka Bloodfuzz, aka Blue Day Fusée, Tom Hader, aka Cupid, aka Cherub, and Tony Griggs, a.k.a. Big Griggs, a.k.a. Grand Grisois.
Thanks to each and every one of you for your continued support of the program. We hope that you'll stick with us throughout these trying times. And by that, I just mean the transitional phase. We really appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. We hope you had fun today. It's always a blast hanging out with you, the Pro Wrestling Palskis.
If you're enjoying this podcast or any podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon shop. You can tout your podcast pride while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. Make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com. Get your dragon swag on.
It's Dragon Wagon.